Hey, it's Joey Balladonna here from Anthrax, and this is SAGAS.
Well,
Look, this is a big one.
I didn't break out and join the podcast today.
It is now time for Devil's Advocate. Same time, same place, awesome.
What's going on, everybody? This is Corbin, the Serpent Tongue Skipwith, and you're listening to the solo edition of SAGAS. It's pretty weird to record by myself, to be honest. But with Ren out on his amazing tour, doing this thing, and with regular scheduling going back, starting from the week after, because it's pre-recorded, I figured, fuck it, this was a good time to work on myself as a host, as an interviewer, I guess, to myself in this particular situation. Just figured, may as well get some content out for this week. And I thought, what better time and what better album to talk about than this one behind me, which, if you're not really familiar with, it's my co-host Ren Maru and his boys, the lads. Shout out to you guys, Michael and Terrence, aka the Berserkers, and their latest album, Tales of Rune. Now, this actually hits a lot of interesting marks because, one, this will be the first album covered twice. This is the first artist covered twice. This is the first episode where we covered SAGAS on SAGAS. For those that don't know, the name from the podcast was from the album before this called SAGAS. And then we have this one. So we haven't actually repeated an artist yet until now. And I figured, what a better way, or what a better artist to cover twice than the OGs himself. So I want to talk about this album. And, I figured it would be better to talk about this without Ren. Because he's an annoying cunt, narcissist, piece of shit. Because, this way I get to reflect on just how good of an album this is and, talk about it in a more introspective light and give you your reasons why you should definitely listen to this album and why it is just everything it should have been from the one before. Now, the one before was an album called SAGAS, as I mentioned. It was a fantastic album. For those who are new to this band and just think of Rand as my host, as my co-host, and for some reason don't know he's a musician, this is his band, and they do Viking metal. Norse Viking metal mixed with a bit of rock and roll, mixed with a bit of, groove metal, some thrash, there's some punk elements, grunge elements. They got the whole thing going on, but what they're most known for is their Viking metal influences. And there was a lot of it shown on SAGAS, and my early introduction to them was singles off that album. If I remember correctly, it was, I forgot what the singles were, but a handful of singles before the album released that really got me going. And then when the album released, I did a review on it, which kind of grew the friendship between me and Ren. And then I did the interview with Ren, the first one with two. The second one actually covers this album quite a bit, but I thought I'd do a bit more depth into it personally. And then I was on their ass about this new album because I was so excited, and it finally came. And ironically, as I said in the interview, which you should go check it on my YouTube channel, once he gave me the early release, I didn't even end up listening to it. I mean, in the early release one, because my OCD fucked me up because the track list was all in different orders, and I can't stand that shit. So I waited for the official release like a good little boy. And yeah, it was everything I hoped to be and more. Now, why is this an important album to talk about, and why is it worth repeating the artist twice? Well, here's why. First of all, it is just a perfect example of how a band should progress throughout the years, throughout album to album, because as I said, SAGAS was an amazing album, but what they did on this one, they made it heavier in a good way. They made it more Viking influence. There are so many bits and pieces, niches, and instrumentation, that just resemble the whole Viking lore. And it's something I felt was a little bit lacking on SAGAS, and the hints that I did get were phenomenal, and I just wanted more. And on this one, based on the singles that I heard, I can admit I was a bit worried that this would be just like kind of dudes just up as Vikings playing Motorhead, kind of a fast pace but not much influence there on what they're building their brand to be, what they're building their band to be, what they're building the three-piece to be. And my worries were obviously So I'm talking about it today. My Warriors were put to rest, and we now have Tales of Rune. Now, Tales of Rune is an 11-track album. The song lists go as follows. I'm going to butcher most of Fenrir, Fenrir, Dead Sang or Death Song, Kinsman Die, the three Norns, Huldra, Sigurd the Dragon Slayer, badass single that, Brand of Sacrifice, Let's Drink Mead, Odin's Sons and Daughters, Bragi or Gods of Music, and Fingael or Fair Foreigners, which is the final track. There's so much variety on the album. You know, let's start off with the single that was most public, that was most pushed. Let's Drink Mead, which is a, you know, just as I think Ren described, as like a tribute to the warriors that have fallen. You know, just to celebrate and drink mead. As Substance, I'm hoping to get more familiar with as years go on. Thanks to various people helping us out on the podcast. Either way, it's a good, cheerful song, and it has that really nice folk tavern influence. You know, which a little bit of a backstory, a bit of an inside scoop into SAGAS. I actually tried, and I've actually wanted for a while to add some tavern like ASMR in the background, you know, people drinking, you know, chattering, you know, indistinctive chattering, and bit of live music playing. You know, I tried it once, I got flagged by YouTube for it because apparently there was a bit in it that like had an actual song in it that was licensed copyright issues. But it is something I've always been interested in doing. You know, hearing that song kind of reminded me of like the examples, and you know, it would be kind of weird, I guess, live. I mean, live as in the actual video, because me and Ren are both there. We're both in our rooms. Well, you can't see, I've got a green screen, but we're both in our rooms, in our little studios, and I guess having tavern music in there would kind of make it a bit unrealistic. But I was thinking for like the Spotify editions, you know, the audio ones, to make it that bit more lively, you know, because otherwise it's just us talking, which I don't know if people find that boring or not. But yeah, so anyway, the song Let's Drink Mead has a nice little tavern bits from the start to towards the end of it, which is really nice. I really like the song Fenrir, you know, because it's used in the chorus. I think it's used maybe 8 times, I think. Fenrir. Yeah, I think eight or 6 times. You know, it has a really badass thing. You got the song Sigurd the Dragon Slayer, and you know, that is a badass track. You know, it's just pumping. It's just like it pumps your adrenaline, you know, makes you feel like a real fucking Viking, you know, makes you feel like Kratos in this bitch. Which actually has an animated video. I forgot who made it, but it's fucking badass. Go check that out. Search on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find it. Kick-ass track, kick-ass animated video. You got the songs track 7, Brand of Sacrifice, which sort of stood out to me really well because it has this really insane solo at the end, you know, by Ren himself, and it just fucking kicks. But what shouldn't be overshadowed is the other band members. As I said, Michael on bass and Terrence on drums. I like to call Terrence the ghost of John Burnham, the guitarist from the drummer from Led Zeppelin, one of my favorite bands and my favorite drummer. Because he has such a technical style, he has such a free flow style, and such a intellectual way of playing, which doesn't really make sense. But if you listen to it and then you compare it to drummers like John Burnham, you understand. So it's really, and it shines really well here. You can hear the rhythm, you can hear the essence, you can hear the cadence played in every note, in every slap, every hit, you know, whatever you call the drum notes. I guess this is what normally runs here. And then you have, you know, and then you have Michael, which is just he just comes in with this fucking slick ass bass, you know, these rhythms, these sections. It's just blow your fucking head off. It's amazing. You know, they are a really cool trio. They are a great trio. I can't imagine any of the band members being replaced. I really hope they don't have to be. I love all 3 of you. There's a song on here called Odin's Sons and Daughters, which is actually really interesting because it has vocal harmonies by Ren's wife, Kathleen. And, you know, I'll be honest, and I've actually told Ren this, and this is nothing against you, Kathleen. This is 110,000% Ren's fault, so fuck Ren. But I just wish, because what it does is it incorporates her vocals like towards the 3/4 of the song, like just once towards the end. I don't understand that fucking. There's like a few times towards the end, you know, it's what it should have done is, you know, incorporate it with Ren, behind Ren's vocals, or just under, or sync toe to toe with, and then progress, and then have her end the chorus or pre-chorus, you know. I think that would have, and then maybe have like a little solo thing to finish off the track. I just need to have it like to have an isolated just one towards the back end. I just think was unfortunately awkward, and that's all, like I said, Ren's fault. The singing was no problem at all. It was really good. It's just how fucking Ren mixed it. So fuck you, Ren. No, I do mean that. But so yeah, that's a great track. Otherwise, it's a great track overall. It's just that one little niche thing that I would personally change because of my OCD. The death song is really groovy. It's real badass. You know, that's the thing. This is a Viking metal album first, and then other elements second. You know, you can find, like I said, you can find thrash elements, grunge elements, rock and roll elements. You know, you can find a bit of folk elements as well. You can find anything because they're so versatile. They're so experimental, but not in an over the top way like a Swans or a fucking Scott Walker. Was this his name? Paul Walker? Scott Walker. They're the guy who made the that really experimental and Bloom or Brom, whatever. I just remember that segment, but but yeah, like it's not heavily experimental, but it is has little bits and pieces, you know. So, and I think it all comes together to make this well-rounded, well-executed album that's not too heavy on any elements except for what it should be heavy on, which is the Viking metal aspect, Norse elements, which is the whole thing I wanted to be heavier in the first place. Heavily incorporated. So this is just a fantastic album. I mean, you know, I've only just recently started working with Ren, you know, and obviously can't imagine it better for all the shit I give him. You know, he really is the perfect host to have, and you know, his band really is bitching. I'm not just saying this because I'm co-host with them. You know, like I thought this was an important album to bring up because of the fact that it really pushes Viking metal, and I've shown this to so many people who aren't familiar with Ren, who aren't friends with Ren, you know, and they say how amazing it is, or as Ren would say, how bitching it is, because it's a fantastic album. And I think if you're looking for a metal album that just hits you in all the right places, gives you that oomph, gives you that flair, has that flavor to it, that sonic flavor, you can't go with any other albums like this. And I really mean it. Lyrically, it kicks. You know, the production value, it kicks. The mixing, it's an all-around amazing album with a few personal OCD tweaks I wish would happen, but that's just me. I mean, other than that, it really is a near perfect album. I just wanted to let this out there short and sweet. Please go check this out. Ren Marabou and the Berserkers, or on platforms is normally just Ren Marabou. Narcissistic melodies. Tales of Rune, go check it out. And while you're there, go check out SAGAS, which is the inspiration for this podcast. That's another great album too. And before I close up today, I just want to shout out to Viking Trinkets. They produced this jewelry for me. They sent it out. It is amazing. It is the hammer of Thor, and it's attached with two Fenrir wolves that the mouths connect to, little circle there. It is amazing. I wear it every day, literally. I wear it in the shower, I wear it to sleep, I wear it to work, hides while at work, you know, and then obviously when I'm not at work, it doesn't matter. But it really is amazing. So go check it out. Go make sure you check out obviously Ren Marabou and the Berserkers music. And yeah, that will be it for tonight. And next week will be, as we always say, same time, same place, or something.